Lisa, if you don't know already. So today I'm going to teach y'all how to blend acrylics, because I know some people who have like a hard time blending with acrylics. Even when I started acrylics in the beginning, even I had like a very hard time blending. It just like turned out like stripes. So let's dive into it. So today I'll be using turquoise blue. I'll link all the supplies in the description below, as always. And also I'll be using crimson and white. I haven't still opened this. Let's open it. Just bought it today because turquoise is my favorite color. Okay, I'll be using these brushes. I just got them today. So this is like 50 millimeter. And this is a round brush, the size 18. And this is a flat 14. Okay, so I'll be showing you 4 different techniques on how to do acrylic blending. You can use any of them. Some may be hard, but I'll show you the easy ones as well. So I'll be using this guy first. And I'm also going to be using my palette knife to mix the colors because I don't want paint loaded all over my brush. I forgot to mention I'm going to be using ultramarine blue because turquoise and red don't make a good combination for purple. So I'll dip my brush in this turquoise, rub it off a bit because I don't want too much of that paint. And I'm just going to do a side by side motion, like a vertical motion. So I'll have turquoise at the top, white in the middle, and purple over here. Or you know what? I think we can just mix turquoise and purple together. Just put a little bit of water there. Sheesh, I'm getting paint all over the desk. So I'm laying an even coat of paint. I'll add some water in there, but not too much because it'll just not stick to the canvas. What is that? Dude, this brush is literally... Gah. Okay, so I filled in my even coat of turquoise. Now I'm going to go quickly to purple because I don't want it to dry. This is not oil paint, it's acrylic. It dries quick. I'm gonna wipe off my brush, get some purple on my brush, and oh gosh, that's a lot of water. So one of the mistakes that many beginners do with acrylics is that they leave it to dry for too much time. I mean, you should not let it dry when you're trying to blend. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. So I put my coat of purple, I just washed my brush like very little. I'm wiping it off on this cloth, which I use for all of my paintings. I'm wiping it off so that it gets off all the water. Okay, and now I'm going to use my clean brush and I think first I'll just going to make some strokes like that. So all you do is with your brush, you just make strokes in the middle. And then slowly you take this paint and you go upward. Oh shoot, I got paint here. I think that's fine. And I'm going to go upward like that. So I'm taking this paint and gradually going into the next color. You know what, I'm going to take some turquoise and I'm going to go on top of this because my turquoise is a bit too light, too transparent. So I'm going to take that, make it a bit darker and come all the way down. I'm going to put some in the middle. Okay, so I think I might take a bit of more ultramarine blue and put it in my purple because I want it dark. Okay, there we go. And slowly I'm gonna do the strokes and go upward. Okay, so this is the first way you can blend with acrylics, and this is the easiest way. So let's move on to the next one. So for the next one, we'll be using this guy here, and we'll be using the same paint colors. For the next one, I'll be using white and turquoise instead of the purple, because you can see that like they almost look the same, almost. Okay, and I'm going to get my turquoise. So for this, I'm going to use X motions like that, like you are creating an X shape. Just let me get a bit more paint on my brush. It's like a figure eight movement, so it's like a stroke. So it's like this and like that. So first you go like that and like that. Or you know what, if the stroke is too hard for you, you can just go and add your layer there. And then I'm going to wash my brush very well because the next color is going to be white, and you don't want your white to become turquoise. I didn't wash it very well. I still got a little bit of turquoise there. So I'm gonna take a bit of white. I'm going to put it there in the middle. I'm just gonna put the pigment down. I'm not gonna do any blending, just a layer. Okay, so now is the time for the figure eight strokes. So now you just do the strokes which I told you to do, and you just go like that. I'm going to do this a bit slowly so y'all can see. So at first I'm not going to get like a perfect blend or anything. I'm just focusing on getting that color over there. Just going to dab my paintbrush so I can fill in all the white spots. I'm going with my X strokes. So after that, I'm just going to wash my brush very slightly. It still has tons of paint on it. And I am going to go with my X strokes over here. So like that. So now we'll be focusing on blending this color right here, which we have made, and that darker turquoise. So we'll be making those X strokes like that. And also you have to be fast with it because you don't want your paint to get dried up. Mine is almost dried up, so that's not good. Just going to do this a bit more faster. And then I'll take some turquoise and I'm going to blend in there. So I'm slowly bringing that color down. This blending method is a bit harder for beginners. I think I'll add more white and I'll start blending. I'm just going to wipe off my brush. I'm not going to wash it with water, I'm going to wipe it off. So it's pretty dry right now. And I am going to go over here and do those strokes. And the only reason that people do X movements is for the texture which you get. As you can see, just gonna add more white because my paint is drying up rapidly. And I mean it. Add more water because my paint is too thick. It's not staying on the canvas for long. Okay, I wiped off my brush again. Going to this part again. So I think I'm going to wash my brush very slightly, I mean. And I'm going to dry it on a cloth and do my strokes. Okay, so that part is blended right now. I'm just going to wipe off my brush on the cloth, and now I'll focus on blending this layer here. So now I'm going to take more white, put it there. I'm going to wet my brush just a little bit because my paint is it's like very dry. Just going to put some white over here. I'm just going to go in my normal strokes just to lay down the paint. After I put down that color, I'm going to blend this layer here. So we have that color. I'm going to wash my brush. Gonna get all that pigment out of my brush and wipe it off too. It's very dry. Poor brush, scrubbing it too hard. And after I dry my brush, I'm going to blend this layer here. You know what, I think I'm going to leave that plate and that part there because it's not getting fixed. What I might do is I might add a moon or something there. So I'm gonna take loads of white and put it right here, like at the bottom of it, of the whole painting. So the acrylic paint is quite not dry yet, so I ended up with a blue moon. Thanks to me. So I'm just gonna let it be like that and I'll move on to the next one. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm using this canvas, the Faber-Castell canvas board. Apparently it's professional. I got it for very cheap, like about 60 rupees. And let's put this guy aside. I think for this next technique, I'm going to use this tinier brush. Yeah, it's the number 10 round. So yeah, let's get into it. So this blending technique is like when you're painting like a night sky. So it's like when you have the moon in the middle and then it slowly turns darker as you go farther from the moon. Just going to put white in the middle. Just put a bit of white. So this is where our moon is going to be. And for the darker part of the painting, I'm going to be using turquoise. Or should I use ultramarine? You know what, I'm going to use ultramarine for the darker part of the painting. Okay, so I put my color there. So now I'm going to mix ultramarine, as you can see here, ultramarine and a bit of white to get a lighter shade of ultramarine. And I'm going to, wait, let me put this masking top. So we're going to put this around the circle. And now I'm going to start blending from the inner part. I'm slowly going to progress outward. Slowly making those motions. So I'm just turning my brush like that. Just making curved strokes like a C shape. Just like that. If you're not comfortable in this position of your canvas, you can turn it around. You know what, I'm going to turn mine out now and start blending this part. Now I'm going to wash my brush, get more white to put in the inner part. I'm going to get more white. And now I'm going to progress outward. If you're doing this technique, your white is going to get over. I'm telling you, you have to use that much quantity of white. Slowly just doing those strokes. You don't need to be fast, and try to make your strokes like big, like for longer durations. Don't do this. Do this. So you get smoother strokes. Okay, so I'm not gonna blend out. Don't worry about blending the middle part, because that's where the moon is gonna be, and the moon is not blending in with the sky. It's going to be, it's gonna have a hard edge. So it's not, yeah, you get what I mean. So I'm going to take more of my ultramarine, mix it with white, but a bit darker shade than this. Okay, so now I blocked out my color into a round circle. I'm not gonna wash it completely, it still has pigment on it. I'm going to dry it a lot, because I don't want it to pick up the pigment which I already laid down. So I'm gonna go with my wet brush. I think I'll just take an easy bit of white and a bit of blue maybe. And I'm just going to blend this part. Sometimes I use the edge of my brush, like the tip of my brush, to kind of get rid of those blank spots right there on the canvas. Just kind of dab my brush there. You know what? Because I got this hard edge over here, I'm going to go back to my whites and I'm going to blend this part. Just going to take a bit of white and I'm just going to put it there. Okay, so now we have blended this part. Now I'm going to block out my color for the darkest color. Okay, so I laid down my ultramarine. Oh, great. And now I'm bringing a dry brush and I'm going to blend these two colors with it. Actually, I'm gonna make my wet brush a bit wet because it's too dry. Okay, so for this next technique, I'm going to use this big, fat, round brush of the number 18, and I'm just going to dab it, literally just dab it. Okay, so my dabbing is done. Just a bit more. And now I'm going to use white. Get white and dab that onto there. I think this is also very easy for beginners. Like beginners can try this. It's gonna be easy for them. Cause all you gotta do is dab, dab, dab. So I'm slowly progressing towards the darker color. So as you can see, the dabbing has blended these colors. I'm going to take whites and dab it onto there. Oh, I love this dabbing. Now I'll add more whites. Okay, so now I think I'm satisfied with it. Okay, I might add a bit more whites because a little bit of blue got into my whites. And let's dab that part. Can you hear that sound? It sounds so slimy. Okay, I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with this. So this method over here, you can use it for like when you're doing clouds. It's gonna give a really nice texture to the sky, just how this one right here, the crisscross marks, you can't really see them, but it still isn't just vertical strokes. So that's it for today. Gosh, the desk is a mess. I'll just remove the masking tape off. Shoot, I got some paint there from my hands. See how messy they are? So this is the first one. This is the second one. I hope you like it. If you like it, please do subscribe and what was I gonna say? And please give a thumbs up. And also, have a great day. Bye.